expect some difference to be made. I mean, if for nothing at all, to be the only MP, as far as I'm concerned in this Fourth Republic, I stand to be corrected. I think that he has been dragged before the Privileges Committee as a member of Parliament more than any. I mean, the last Parliament, he was dragged before the Privileges Committee for the same reckless and irresponsible statements he made. I mean, he has made the same reckless and irresponsible statements. To be very honest, in a serious democracy, that man should not be a free man walking. In the case of Ahmed Swali, and I'm not accusing him for the murder of Ahmed Swali, a journalist, an investigative journalist who did his work in secrecy. This journalist was brought to bear. Many people didn't know Ahmed Swali. I knew him as a brother. To be very honest, I never knew him to be a journalist. I knew him. He's a Gomba boy. I never knew him to be a journalist. I mean, it tells you the importance of the work that he was doing and the need for it to be in absolute secrecy. This gentleman's pictures were put on his TV, and he asked people whoever met him should hurt him. And within weeks or months, the gentleman was barbarously murdered. And this dude is a free man walking because everybody in NPP fears him. Everybody, including the president. He can insult anybody, he can attack anybody. I think that our democracy deserves better. And Honorable Ohene could not have done something that is appropriate to uphold the sanctity and the decency in Parliament, in our body politics, than what he did. I expect the committee, the Privileges Committee, to do something better now. But you see, the loudness of the silence of the media, unfortunately, has been telling. And maybe perhaps some have argued that chickens are coming home to roost. A journalist was barbarously murdered. And the murder has something to do with the recklessness of a member of Parliament. Now, that gentleman, I mean, of course, multimedia, you guys spoke well, strongly, and many other media houses. There were others who were very silent. And I mean, a complete state of incommunicado in a matter of a journalist who was murdered. Today, Erastus Donko, who is doing tremendously well. And for me, I'm surprised that the guy hasn't won a lot of awards, particularly in the investigative journalism in the area of Galamsey, doing tremendously well. And this gentleman did exactly what he did in the matter of Ahmed Swali. And let us not take this thing serious. I think that the man should be dealt with. And it is not just the Privileges, Committee of Parliament. Because what Honorable Ohene did yesterday was to protect the integrity of Parliament. There is that profound or deep-seated mistrust the people of this country have with Parliament. And I think that recklessness and irresponsible statements such as the one Kennedy Agyapong made would only deepen that mistrust and that lack of confidence the people of this country have for the legislative arm. So I think that is long overdue. If for nothing at all, I mean, two parliaments, the 7th Parliament, the 8th Parliament, you being dragged. And you are not being dragged because of anything that is fashionable, but because of your recklessness and irresponsibility. Look, I had it discussed. In fact, I won't describe it as confrontation. I accosted him at the coffee shop in Parliament just last week. He is the chairman of the Interior and Defense Committee. I mean, one of the most sensitive committees of Parliament. Out of cowardice, the leadership of the NPP have given it to such irresponsible and reckless member
that would be
Parliament.
Unfair to the leadership of the NPP.
I'm saying that out of cowardice.
Why do you say so? Because he was appointed by his leadership?
History that, in fact, it's the leadership that determines which committee you should serve.
Doesn't this leadership include your leadership, the minority leadership?
No. As to who represent which committee is, if you have the committee, the chair of the committee that should be represented by a member of the majority, it will be determined by the leadership of the majority.
And
I'm saying that he has a history. He has never been circumspect as to what he says. He has a history of such recklessness. And that you make him a chairman of such sensitive committee, a committee that is exposed to national security, issues that border on security, because the Committee for Defense and Interior is always briefed. Things that journalists and myself, even a member of Parliament, and even some ministers of state may not know. If you are not a cabinet minister, there are a lot of secrets of the state that you wouldn't know. But as the chair of such a sensitive committee, he has access, and you have such a reckless person being the chair. And I told him in the coffee shop, and I said I was disappointed in him. I told him in his face. And he asked me, I said, look, you are the chairman of the Interior and Defense Committee. Kaka was barbarously murdered. Other innocent citizens were murdered by men in uniform. Men who are paid with our taxes, with the responsibility to protect the integrity of this country, the territorial integrity of this country, that those men in uniform murdered people who were exercising their inalienable democratic right as enshrined in Article 21 of the 1992 Constitution to demonstrate. He never made a single statement. If for nothing at all, he would have at least, condemned the killing without even accusing anybody, because it just to be established by a committee, interministerial committee that is set up by the president. But as a chairman of that committee, did you hear any word from him? And when I told him, he was trying to, and at a point he nearly got angry. And I'll tell you the truth. I won't sit somewhere and discuss it. I'll tell you straight in your face. And I'm saying that they are so scared of him. Tell me which minister in this government that this man will not attack and go scot-free. Tell me. So I'm saying that that particular fear that has been demonstrated by people within the NPP, and to a very large extent, a section of the Ghanaian media, they are so scared about him because perhaps they are so scared that he knows a lot about them. I mean, clearly. So when you do that, and he's like the King Kong within the NPP, and virtually want to be the King Kong of Ghana's politics, he can say anything that nobody dare says and go scot-free. I think that we must begin making him understand that this country, we have all agreed to charter the path of democracy, and everybody's conduct, including the president, is regulated by law.